Alright everybody, I bought a really nice compound table. I had no idea who made it, and I was fairly new to using these things. And I thought this was an old vintage American-made, incredible, thing. The quality of it, coming from what I was coming from a Harbor Freight cross-slide vise, and going to this, I later found out this was made by Phase 2. It's an import table. Going to this table from the Harbor Freight is literally like going from it's like going to a Bridgeport milling machine. It's that much of a gap in quality difference. It still isn't the Bridgeport quality, or the Palmgren and stuff like that, but it really is that much of a jump. I mean, the tolerances are so much better. It's so much more solid. There's nowhere near the backlash. There's 10 times more precision. There's more adjustability to it. It does have a replaceable Acme nut, things like that. So it's substantially higher quality. And, it fooled me. I thought, I was like, oh, wow, I finally got an old American-made one. But no, it's not. I found out after I bought it, and luckily I paid a fair price for it. So it was totally, I didn't get ripped thinking that it was anything else. Nothing like that. But there were a couple things with the table I wanted to change. So this is what I immediately scoped out. First, the Acme nut was replaceable, and I was very happy to see that because there was about almost a full turn of backlash. I swear it was a lot. I mean, if I'm exaggerating there, I would highly doubt it. There was a lot of backlash. So luckily, I did inspect it before buying it and saw that it had a replaceable nut, which was cool. Okay, and I already had it planned out. I figured, oh, well, I'll just replace the nut. That's all I have to do. Well, what I did was I took the nut out, and I had found that I couldn't find anything. I took all the measurements, every different possible. I don't think I have all the photos, everything, but I panicked and I took every possible measurement, and I found a lot of Acme nuts online, same thread pitch, 1/2 inch by 10, but none of them had this appropriate collar that I needed, this protrusion here, to fit inside my table, and that was the issue. And I'm like, damn, I don't have a rotary milling table or anything. I have no way of even fabricating something like this, even if I had the know-how to do it and the materials, I have no way of doing it. So I'm like, how am I going to get another one? And I remember at the time I did not know Phase 2 made this table, so the only thing I could do was search around. So what I did was, in the end, I wound up with just silver brazing a 1/2 inch by 10 anti-backlash, totally adjustable Acme nut that I got on eBay for $12. I silver brazed it on, and I used a really good silver. I used a 56% silver rod, and there's the back, and it is solid. It's on there, okay? So that was how I got by that. Now, I did find out later that I could probably get another one of these factory nuts from Phase 2 or whatever, maybe Grizzly, whoever's distributing the table and the parts, can easily be ordered. I didn't know that, so I did just solder, or I should say braze, because it was like 1300 degree temperature, onto that, and at least now I have an adjustable ability to remove backlash. Now this method took out pretty much all of the backlash by doing this, and I didn't even get to adjusting this at all. I didn't even get to adjusting it. It is still untouched. So that was cool. That worked out nice. This is the nut that I got on eBay. Just type in anti-backlash Acme nut, and it's gonna pull these up. There it is. It's finally completed. I have screw through there. I got a stainless steel screw through there, and I did actually silver solder this on. So it's screwed and silver soldered onto this just to increase the, well, to be honest with you, once I put these two screws in, it was pretty much, I realized that this was the wrong way to go, and this doesn't even need to be here, but it's there now, so, but there's absolutely zero backlash whatsoever, and I like that. Very, very nice. Very nice. Very, very smooth. I put a little
cut here. I'm going to put some white paint in there so I can at least match up the dial to something, because obviously I had to ditch the other dial. I put that back here just to fill up some space, but this dial here is supposed to be in the front. Just wouldn't work though. And that's it. It's pretty smooth, precision feel, and with zero backlash. I don't know. I really like that feeling. This side looks to be a little bit easier. If you take a look, I'll just put this here to catch. I didn't like particles getting inside the keyways, or the T-slots, or whatever they're called. But as you can see, this is just a flat. This just goes straight up to it. So what happens is this is going to be easy because I can just pull out enough thread where I have a 1/2 inch diameter to work with. I'll grind a slight little indentation in 2 spots for this and for this, and that will just lock right up. And I'll just drill and tap right through here, somewhere around this. Yeah, obviously I can't use this because there's no meat here to bite into it. So we'll just do that just like we did over here, but it'll be a lot easier. I won't have to use any spacers or anything. Just drill and tap straight on in and put that on there. Okay, so we have our holes drilled there. Debating on whether or not to tap these. I don't know. Might not have to at all. It's kind of overkill, extra time, but I guess we'll see. Okay, so I finally got just the right amount of aluminum pieces underneath this so that the shaft and the bearing are perfectly smooth. There's no binding of any way. That it's definitely has to be perfectly running straight through the table. And I'm using these little magnets here just to hold my angle in as I make my marks into the actual platform of the table to drill, and this should give me a nice, perfect match. Okay, we are now mounted in. We've got our 632 stainless here, and we are beautifully free-flowing here. I love this. All we're going to do now is we're just going to put a little nick in here on that one, and then another on this side. Overkill. You obviously don't need 2, but I'm going to do 2 anyway. A little groove there with the Dremel, and put this feed screw in to the right depth, and then just lock them in, put everything back, and it's done. This side was so much easier than this side was. This side had that little collar down there, and it just was so much more work, and plus this was the first one. I hadn't figured it out entirely, and this pillow block actually is a substantially larger diameter than this one. This one's like real wide. This one's like hardly anything. So that's it. And whew, man, I'm glad this one's almost done. It is done finally. Backlash is all gone. I love this. The final thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, okay, I'm going to cut it right here in the middle, and I'm going to turn that into, this is 1/4 inch, I'm going to turn it into a table lock. Okay, it's going to have one here, or maybe in the center, I guess, and on the other side as well. It's cheap, right? I mean, how cheap can you get? So I'll use this, turn this into a table lock. It should work because that clears completely, so I should be able to get that in enough turns to get it right up against the gib. And yeah, if I can just get right back there. So yeah, there's a cheap poor man's table lock, right? Oh, I know, there's better methods. But I'm just tinkering here. And so there we have it. It's finally done. Now when I get the next table in, the brand new one, I'll do the same thing here, but only better, with none of the mistakes that I did with this one. Later.